Hi there, it's Dr. Nadia here with the Doyenne Agency and creator of Straight Talk About Sales. And today we're going to continue the conversation about launches. So in the previous video, we talked about preparing for the launch, coming up with your great ideas, all that good stuff. So today I'm going to go a little bit deeper as you're preparing to go into your launch. Or if you're still at that point where, I'm still trying to figure out if a launch is right for me. And again, this whole series was inspired by a blog post I read by my dear friend and colleague, Katie T. You can head on over to her blog at hirekatie.com to read the entire blog because I'm just going to talk about some key points today. And point number 2, when she talks about all that you need in preparing for a launch. So the first thing that Katie mentioned in her blog was having a solid idea. We're not going to talk about that so much today. Today, we're going to talk about business readiness. Is your business really ready? Because again, launches can take 3 or more months to prepare and get things together. And it depends on, are you doing this alone? Are you doing this with a team? Like there are a lot of different things that impact how long it takes. But you want to be ready because you definitely want to see the results of all of your hard work. So one of the things that Katie mentioned in the blog that I thought was so good and yummy was solid systems. What systems do you have in your business to support the continued growth of your business or even the continued running of your business during your launch period? Now, systems period are really good in your business. And you also want to look at the systems that will support you during your actual launch. There are a lot of different things, a lot of moving pieces that are going to happen while you're doing your launch. So you want to think about how are you going to generate your leads? What does that look like in communicating with any potential JV or affiliate partners during this whole time? What type of fulfillment you have in place, client fulfillment. One of the things I talk about a lot of times in sales is we're not always ready for the yes. We talk a whole lot about rejection, which is definitely part of the process. We talk about being prepared for the no. We talk about follow-up, but are you prepared for the yes? I've had clients get clients and they're like, crap, now what do I do? I'm not ready. They don't know how to process payments. They don't have agreements in place. They don't have fulfillment emails ready to go. What does that process look like? How are you taking care of your current clients while you're preparing to potentially have an influx of new clients? And what does that influx look like? And can your business handle the influx? So you want to look at all of your systems all the way around to make sure that you're ready. The second thing is stable revenue. This is huge. Launches cost money. I'll say that one more time. Launches cost money, and many times they can be quite expensive. So, and here's the thing. We just sometimes think, well, I'll just do it myself. Well, you have to look at the opportunity cost. Nothing against it. But again, if you're taking that time yourself to do a lot of these pieces and get them in place, which some of that you will need to do, then you also have to look at how is that going to impact your business and your ability to work with new clients, to stay out in front of potential clients and prospects when it comes to lead generation, when it comes to list building, when it comes to visibility. Like how will that impact you and your schedule? So you definitely want to take a moment to weigh the cost. Does it make more sense for me to do this? Or does it make more sense for me to outsource this and I bring in team to support me? There is no right or wrong answer. You just need to make that decision for yourself based on where you are in your business. But I'm here to tell you that if revenue is tight and you don't have stable revenue to support you while you're a little bit distracted during this period and preparing for and possibly during a launch, then it's going to add added stress. Just more stress is going to be added to your plate because now you're also thinking about how am I going to pay the bills that I have now in preparation for potential windfall later. So take a look at your business. Are you at a point where your revenue is stable that can sustain you during a period in your business where you may not be as focused on certain things in your business, that especially those revenue generating activities, because you'll be pulled away depending on what it is you're launching to do certain things. So for example, if you're launching an online course, you may need to be pulled away to record all the modules. There are certain things that only you can do. So what does that look like? How much time will that require? And how can you chunk that up either before, during, or after your launch? Things to think about and consider as you're preparing to go and take this on. The next thing is an engaged list. Now, this one is good because we often talk about, having a big list. You hear it all the time. If you don't have more than 5,000 people or at least 5,000 people on your list, oh my gosh, your business is going under, or whatever other scare tactics we've been told. Now, having a sizable list makes sense. And there's always that point as you're growing, it's like, I'm not there yet. We all started somewhere. I remember when I first started my business and I was building a list, I was just excited the day that someone was on my list that I didn't personally know, right? You're like, I made it. Also, don't allow that to hold you back. If you're really considering a launch and you're able to go through and say, okay, I have this, I'm here, this makes sense, I'm ready to do this. The key point is an engaged list. Because I've seen people with massive lists that were not engaged. And so they had a launch and it just didn't, it didn't go the way they thought it might go. And based on the numbers, mathematically, we should have had way more people to convert, and they didn't. So size isn't the key determining factor as to whether or not your launch will go well. I've seen people have launches with relatively small lists, and when I say small, I'm saying less than 2,000, less than 1,500, who've had amazing results. Simply ravishing. They had less than 5,000, let me tell you that, definitely less than 10, and they were totally okay. So the thing is your list engaged? Start to check, if you aren't already, how engaged is your list in terms of who's opening your emails. It may be time to go through and do some cleanup. On my team, we make it a goal. We don't always hit it on the head. Sometimes we miss it. Every 90 days, if people haven't been opening the emails that we send out, they're deleted. Bye-bye. Doesn't matter if you're on the list so we can have a bunch of numbers. If you're not engaged, it doesn't matter. The same is true for you. If your list is engaged, it doesn't matter. But if they are engaged, hallelujah, that's a good thing. So here's the big question for you. How often are you talking to your list? Is your list nurtured? Are you talking to them on a consistent basis? Actually, in Katie's blog, she scratched out consistent and said constantly, all right? What does that look like, right? In terms of continuing to talk to your list, continuing to nurture them, continuing to build that relationship, and in some cases, continuing to build up the excitement about the launch, right? So you have to really take some time to think about your overall strategy, but I'm telling you, maybe setting yourself up for disappointment if you haven't been talking to your list, no matter how big, and then you wake up one day, you're like, surprise, I have a launch, and people are like, ciao, bye, I don't care. You could get mixed results. You just never know. Is that a risk, though, that you're willing to take? So if you haven't been engaging with your list, I suggest you start now and start to build that know, like, and trust factor. Start to provide content and provide value. Start to really get to know them and make sure that, you guys are actually like friends and they like you, that y'all are cool, so that when it's time to launch, you're like, well, yeah, I've been waiting for this. Hello, let's do this. All right. You want to build that excitement, but you just, you wake up one day, you're like, oh, I'm just going to launch something. It may or may not work. And it may or may not work consistently. All right. And then the other thing that Katie talked about, which I think is so important, is team. Team. Now, while, again, a team isn't required, I highly recommend having a team. One, it helps take the pressure off of you. There's a lot of moving pieces. You want to make sure there are things that you don't forget. And it also helps to have people that this is their area of specialty. This is their area of expertise. This is what they do day in and day out to help support you during this period. That doesn't mean they have to stay forever. So they could be a project-based team. They can just come in for that specified period of time, help you get everything together. And once you learn it, you may be able to just really rock and roll without that team in the future, or with your small team. Maybe you have a smaller team to support you. So it's not necessarily required. However, I highly recommend it. Here are some things that I also recommend you consider as you're building out your launch and you're preparing for it. Having a copywriter. copywriter, or at least someone to review what you've written to make sure it's in alignment to move people to where you want them to be. Systems and more systems. There's so many moving pieces to a launch. Good Lord. From a systems perspective, having someone on your team that can make sure everything is doing what it's supposed to do. The last thing you want to happen is to push the button and say, let's go, and the things not fire the way you need them to go, all right? You want the emails rolling out when they need to. You want to make sure the landing page is up. You want to make sure the buy button is working, or that people can schedule appointments. You want to make sure the calendars are available. You want all these little things that are happening behind the scenes that you need to make sure are in place. And I'm telling you, launches can be overwhelming. Your brain starts to turn to mush. You're like, holy camole, right? So team is highly, 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 highly recommended. Another person for team, your virtual assistant, if you don't already have one, or your online business manager, they are definitely great. Project manager may be great to help make sure all these moving pieces are in place. And your sales team, who's going to help you sell this thing. Again, if this is a high-end offer and they're going to be having conversations. If it's a lower-end offer, then you'll have your sales page up. So that's why you definitely make sure your copy is spot on and people can just go in and hit buy and just buy. And you're just like, you see your cash register singing, right? So take the time to really assess if you're ready for your launch. These are things that you need to prepare. And again, you want to get the full scoop of what Katie had to say, because there are a lot of yummy things that she talked about that I didn't cover in this video. Head on over to hirekatie.com, hit the blog. It's amazing. Read the whole thing. There are lots of yummy things in there. And if you need support around preparing for your launch, I partner with that team. Amazing. Get with them, talk to them, schedule an appointment so they can walk you through how to prepare for your launch. What are the pieces that you have and what are the pieces that you are missing? And then of course, what are the nice to haves? It would be nice, but it's not necessary. They'll be able to give you that information. And then when you're ready, you'll really be able to knock it out of the park. Because these are the pieces that people miss. They only think about the sales part and what am I going to do when I get to the conversation. And that's important, but there's so many things that lead up to the conversation, that lead up to people saying, you know what, this is right for me at this point and I'm ready to make this investment and move forward and invest in your programs, products, or services. It's a lot that goes into it. And it's not to be taken lightly. So I encourage you to take the time, do your due diligence, and get the support you need so that when you do launch, should you ever decide it's something you would like to do in your business, your launch is successful beyond your wildest dreams. I want you to send me messages like, Dr. Nadia, OMG, 6-figure launch. Yes, I don't have to do a launch again until next year. No, that's not how we roll, because we have bigger goals. We're like, oh, that was good, I'm gonna do it again. So again, get the support you need. Take the time to make sure your business is ready, because having a launch when you're not ready could do more harm than good, and we don't want to see that. So again, quick recap. You want to make sure you have solid systems in place. You want to make sure you have stable revenue, consistent revenue coming in month after month after month after month. Just check it. All right. An engaged list. Notice I didn't say a large list. I said an engaged list. And team. Team is optional, but it's highly recommended by your dear friend, Dr. Nadia. All right. And again, head on over. Check out hirekatie.com. Amazing team over there. Her and Jillian and the rest of the crew are the bomb.com. Like I said, I personally have had the pleasure of working with them and seeing the results of having their eyeballs on your launch. So you definitely want to do that. And when you're ready, if you're like, hey, I need some sales support, and well, you know who to call. All right. This is Dr. Nadia with another episode of Straight Talk about sales. Don't launch until you're ready. Signing off. I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.